creating that connection with other people is where it's at, because relationships are everything. And fashion isn't just to look good or feel good. It's literally just to get more exposure to your calling and to your heart, and for people to notice you, just like Faith Hill noticed me when I was a very young child. But it was the same thing as I grew older, and same thing with you guys. I want you to get noticed more and stop hiding behind your clothes, because when you get noticed, gosh, you can do so much good in this world. Hey everyone, welcome to the Tori Cruz Show, where we're shining a light on real conversations and transformational stories with some of the most dynamic entrepreneurs and faith-driven leaders you'll ever meet. I'm Tori Cruz, your host, entrepreneur, virtual stylist, and former Miss Missouri USA, ready to guide you along this exciting journey. This isn't just any podcast. It's your new home for stories that uplift, conversations that transform, and a community that feels like family. From the real challenges to the exhilarating moments of achievement, we cover it all, infused with adventure, laughter, insights, and heartfelt discussions. So settle in, make yourself comfortable, and let's get this show on the road. This is the Tori Cruz Show. And then when you're also thinking about your style, I want you to think of what are you trying to attract? Every single time, it's what are those opportunities that you are wanting to attract from this speaking engagement, from this event, and what kind of people, are you wanting to attract? So not more opportunities such as more speaking engagements, more podcast episodes, more social media content, those sort of opportunities. But then think about the people. What are you wanting to attract as far as the people? Because your image is also, again, silently communicating something to other people. If you can bring out your heart, your personality, your calling externally, that is the key. And you don't have to break the bank. I saw something in here about styling on a budget as well. You can go different levels. One thing that I always like to share is have a conversation starter on your body at all times when you walk out the door. And I would even go as far, depends how serious you are about your craft, about your skill, about the opportunities right now. If you want to really strike up momentum, I would never walk out your front door without having one conversation piece on your body. And what I mean by that is, we'll take this blazer, for instance, right? So this blazer is it's a newspaper. It's really bold. It's very different. And I wore this on purpose today for this example, because I would wear this blazer going to an event if I was attending an event or if I was speaking on stage, because it's a conversation starter. Now, what I mean by that is that I want you to picture you're walking down the hallway to the bathroom at an event. You have two ladies who are in deep conversation that are walking towards you. You're about to cross paths, and your conversation starter on your body literally makes them stop mid-conversation and say, "Excuse me, I have to tell you, I love your blazer. I love your shoes. I love your pants. I love your necklace." Whatever that one thing is. This is a common mistake that we see with people, why they get so overwhelmed with their outfits, is because a lot of people think you have to have the whole outfit be a conversation starter, when in reality, you just have to have one thing. You just have to have one. And whether that's a pop of color, whether it's just something a little different, whether it's something more bold, but just think to yourself, what's that one thing on my body today that I think somebody's going to compliment me on? Now, here's the kicker. It's great to have a compliment. It does boost your confidence. It makes you smile. It makes you happy, right? But the real kicker is not to just say, "Thank you," and keep walking. This is where style becomes a very important play in your business. So when somebody says, "Hey, I love your blazer. Thank you so much. What's your name? I'm Tori." So you introduce yourself, you start a conversation, and then this is the whole key and why we do what we do. Because sure, it's great to look good. It's great to feel good. But if you're not spreading your mission and your purpose and your calling that God has placed in your life, then what is this all for? It's not for anything, right? So we want to make more impact. We want to do it for the glory of Him. The real thing is that you want to create these relationships with other people. That's how we create more friendships, partnership, business deals, our sales increase. We get more impact. And so that is why it's important to just have that conversation starter on. But then in addition to that, go one step further, introduce yourself, and continue that meaningful relationship and connection. Again, I'll go back to how Charity and I met. If I were just to say, "Hey, love your outfit. All right, see ya, bye," I would never be here, and vice versa. I can't even remember. Both Charity and I talk so much that I don't even know which one was starting to go. We were probably both talking at the same time, because it was just the energy between the two of us. It was just so much fun. But truthfully, it's when women make more money, when women make more impact, the world is a better place, because women do phenomenal things with it, right? And so do men. Men do freaking amazing things with money as well. But I just want to encourage you to fully embrace the body that God has given you, the image that God has given you. There's only one of you. I don't even know if any of you are a twin, there's still only one of you, right? And so I just want you to fully embrace who you are as a woman. And so those are the steps that I would really use to create that next level wardrobe if you're a little uncertain about like your style identity and really moving into that world. Now, as far as like brands and stores, so there are, of course, thousands of different brands and stores. We have a style identity audit that we do with a lot of our clients where we walk through, and it's a series of questions to get to know you, your brand, your business, your heart, your goals, your mission, your values. And we take a super deep dive audit into all that. So then we can actually create this look for you and these styles that reflect not only you as a person, but then also represent your brand and your values and your mission very well as well. That is a process that we take everybody through. I'm more than happy to do that with any of you, but also just to give you a little bit of an idea of brands and stores off the top of my head without knowing really any of, that information I just mentioned. Anthropologie, I love, love, love for jewelry. They have very unique jewelry. It's very different. Evereve is very good if you want like elevated casual. Sometimes they have a little bit dressier things. Elevated casual, it's very good. That's excellent for traveling as well, which I'll touch on here in a second. If you want like a signature blazer, as a speaker, Veronica Beard, they're very high price point for, a typical blazer, but I will say it is worth it in the sense that they're just extremely versatile. There's these little thing called dicky jackets that you can zip in and out of your blazer. And this blazer can be just a typical blazer like this. You can have a dicky that's denim and you can put it on the inside of it and it's a denim look. You can zip a hoodie in it. It's just extremely versatile and it can go for a lot of different styles, a lot of different fashions. We love Zara for extremely trendy but affordable pieces because we don't always encourage people to go super trendy all the time, but because trends go out of style and then it's not very budget friendly, we want things that are extremely versatile in your wardrobe. If you're wanting like a bold statement piece for a stage and you just want to make, like, who is that woman? Revolve has a lot of excellent bold pieces like that. Also a big fan of Nordstrom. Rami Brooke has some very pretty pieces. That's not necessarily on a budget, I would say, but there's a lot of different options. We have a summer trends guide. I know summer's wrapping up here, but at the end of our summer trends guide, it has a whole list of our favorite brands and stores. And so if you go on my website's toricruise.com. If you go on my website, it's right there on the homepage. Just scroll down just a little bit and you just can get that right in your inbox. You can see summer trends if you want, but also you can scroll way down and get some brands and stores. That'll be extremely helpful as well. So did that answer your question? Did you have anything based off of that? I know I just like overloaded you all with info.
That was great. Thank you. It answered my question thoroughly.
Okay, good. I also want to touch on real quick. I know we're limited on time here. I got to wrap up here in about a minute, but I wanted to share with you one place that most people are extremely casual, and that's the airport. As a woman who is a leader, who has a very high calling on your life, who has a very high purpose on your life, who is traveling most of the time, you are an expert. You are an expert right now. You are a leader right now. If you don't believe it, start believing it. Write it down 20 times a day because every single one of you are a leader right now. And I want you to start showing up as that leader, especially when you travel. If you're flying on an airplane, do not show up in sweatpants and a t-shirt and your hair in a mess and, just not put together, because that is the biggest networking hub you could ever possibly be in. Most people you see going to the airport and they're just looking sloppy and their heads down, their headphones are in, they're not socializing with anyone. I am telling you right now, I have met more people at an airport than I have at intentional networking events. And it is because most of the time, all the time, I look the part. Now, I'm not wearing a blazer. Sometimes it's just a more elevated casual look, like from Evereve, like I was mentioning. If you are one of those people, you're like, I'm going to wear sweats to the airport. Okay, well, you wear sweats to the airport. Make sure it's nice. Make sure it's a little bit elevated. Put some nice gold jewelry with it. Do your makeup. Do your hair. That makes a world of difference, and you still stand out. When you're also going to the grocery store, I don't mean to put a ton of pressure on you to just always look so good, but at the same time, like, just know every time you step foot out your front door, it's a new opportunity to have a new friendship, a new relationship, a new partnership, and a new business opportunity that could change the trajectory of your life. So make sure you're putting maybe just 10 more minutes effort into your style and image and just watch the world of difference that it truly will make. Okay, I need to wrap up here, but I just want to make sure that if anybody has any questions that I touch on it.
So you were saying to imagine ourselves as how we want to be perceived, right? I would like to look feminine, chic, fashionable, colorful without losing warmth. Because I'm a therapist and I want to show up as a mental health advocate for women. And my topic is friendship. So I want to, look feminine, chic, fashionable, but without losing that warmth.
Yes.
And my brand colors are Amigas Care. These are the colors, friends that care. So I'm very colorful. I love like sparkle. And knowing how to make that combination, that's a question I have.
Again, like without taking like a super deep dive into, who you are and your brand and your business and all of that, number one thing that came to mind was anthropology. Like everything you just described is anthropology, where it's like it's warm, it's colorful, it's approachable without really losing that that just genuine nature part of it. But it's also very fashionable and they also have a lot of versatile pieces. So I would definitely check out anthropology. It's more in our head than it is anything. Shocker with women, right? Like we overthink things sometimes, but it's more the approach with it of really thinking of who you're wanting to attract into your world. Because this is the thing, is that they're going to know that you're approachable and in the sense of your personality and your heart is going to shine through. All you need is just one piece on your body that strikes up a conversation. And somebody's like, "Ooh, I like that color on you." Perfect. Good. You could still have a Chanel necklace on and they don't care. It's more just having that one piece that you're like, "Ooh, somebody I think might be attracted to this because it makes your eyes pop. It makes your hair pop. It makes your skin pop." And then it's just that conversation and people are going to know immediately. All you need to do is strike up a conversation, because the second that any of you strike up a conversation with anybody, they're going to know immediately your heart, because your heart's going to shine through. All you need to do is just have them say one word to you and then they're going to know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all. I wish I had more time with you all, but Charity, I just wanted to again thank you so much for having me on. I just adore you and I can't wait to see you again in person. If any of you ever have any questions whatsoever, you can find me on Instagram, official Tori Cruz, which is right here, my name on the Zoom. So just find me there on Instagram. If you have any questions, send me a DM. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. And thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much, Tori. Before you go, which you're welcome to stick around for the next training, but I would love for you guys in the chat to put one of your favorite nuggets from Tori. I know one of mine was that fashion is a silent communicator, and I love that because I remember when I was a personal trainer and I would show up to networking events in my personal training stuff. And there was this really interesting juxtaposition because I was really known then as a personal trainer. Like I would show up in my fitness attire and it's nice stuff, it's like the higher end, I'm not like showing up in like basketball shorts or whatever, like showing up in elevated fitness wear. And I got really known as a personal trainer. And I remember then getting into pageants and learning what it looked like to actually show up professionally and to stand out among the crowd. And this is even one of the biggest lessons that I learned. When you're on the stage or in a room full of like 30, 40, 50, 60 other incredible women, how do you like really accentuate yourself and bring out parts of you so that you do stand out in the crowd? And I remember when I went to Mrs. America and I was still newer to pageants, I kind of showed up in your typical pageant wear and I wasn't quite comfortable and I didn't quite understand this concept of how do I want to feel and how do I want others to perceive me and how do I partner with fashion and things like that as a tool to bring out like the best of who I am and the best of who I be and have it be a reflection of my personality and what I stand for. And so I remember when I won Miss of the Americas and went to Miss World, I was like, actually, I'm doing this different. And I like threw out all of the traditional pageant stuff and I like brought out some of my favorite pieces and like some fun, edgy things and all this feminine chic stuff that I walked in the room and I felt so confident and I felt magnetic and I felt amazing and I felt beautiful. And that was reflected and I got like top 6 in the world, but then also voted by some of the biggest pageant magazines like best fashion and best dress and all this fun stuff. And so it was this really great way to stand out. And there's also the red shoe effect. And it came from this really fun study that there was a professor at the front of the room in a classroom, like dressed as a regular professor, regular clothes. And then another class, like same room, same professor, different students, but wearing the same exact thing. But the only difference was that he had on red shoes. He taught the same exact class, the same exact content, but everyone that voted, like, what professor do you think is more confident, or which professor did you like better? Overwhelming majority liked the one with the red shoes. And they figured out that it was because there's something that happens in our brains when we see someone that wears something that stands out, that pops, it's a little bit edgy, that's like, ooh, like it captures our attention. It increases our belief in them that they are confident enough to wear that, like no matter what anybody else might say. And so that's why I really wanted to bring on Tori. She's amazing. You guys, for sure, reach out to her, get her style guide, get her a style assessment, find her on Instagram. She has a wealth of knowledge. She did a really fun Instagram live styling me for an event, but Tori is amazing. Utilize her as a resource, reach out to her. She does an incredible job at bringing out the best of who you be and having that be reflected in your style. Tori, thank you for being here, for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge. I'm excited for the women to get to know you and to reach out to you. But yeah, it was amazing.
Thank you so much. Everybody go shine your light, and I will be praying over all of you in the stages that you will be on. I speak so many blessings and abundance over you the rest of the year and beyond too for speaking, because man, what a journey and what a beautiful calling it is to have a calling to speak and to influence and to impact others' lives. So I'm just so excited for all of you. Thank you for having me again. Thanks for tuning in to the Tori Cruz Show. If today's episode inspired you, let's keep the momentum going. For our YouTube family, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop with our latest episodes. And for our podcast listeners, your ratings and reviews are incredibly valuable. They help us reach more people and continue bringing inspiring stories your way. Remember, this isn't just a podcast, it's a growing community of family. Every like, share, and review helps us grow on our journey together, helping us to highlight more impactful stories. Until next time, keep being the light for yourself and others. See you on the next adventure.